Well, good evening. It is another episode of Laura's World. Thank you for joining me. I am so looking forward to this. I know I say that every time, but honestly, tonight I'm getting visited by a very, very good friend of mine. Her name is Hilary. I love her because she got sober real young. Actually, she's considered also an old timer. She's not going to like that, but let's see how Hil does it. And
Hi.
well, hello. Oh my God, I miss you so much.
I miss you too. I was so excited to see you today.
Oh my God. I'm like, what the heck? I have not seen you. It's been way too long, Hil. It's been way
Way
too
too
long.
long. Way too long. How are you?
Yes, I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
I asked you if you would love to do this interview with me. I just introduced you and I said, well, first of all, you're one of my favorite people in the whole world,
I love
in
you.
recovery and otherwise. But I love the fact that you got sober so young, but you're still, but you're considered an old timer.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane. That's insane to me. I've been doing this for a little over a year, and what started out as just a couple of my friends has turned into me meeting some wonderful, wonderful people all over the place.
I was shocked. I had no idea there were this many people out there in recovery. I had no idea.
Me
I mean,
either.
Instagram, like I got sober in 92. There weren't even cell phones. So like, I don't think none of this existed. There was not even cell phones, Lori.
I know. I had a beeper, for God's sake, back in the day.
I had a beeper. Yeah, like that's what we had. Beepers. Nobody
I had to stop at a payphone to call whoever was beeping.
Call a payphone. Did you ever have like call collect? We have to call collect sometimes. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
How is that possible? Like I can't
know.
even imagine life without cell phones now, but that's how we did it. Like there was a home phone and that's what we called from, and an answering machine. That's how we got messages.
That was it. That's how we did it. But I just love this. I just love this recovery community. That's where I met you. I loved your handle.
Yeah.
I loved it. As Hil Sees It. I wish
I could take credit for that, but it was actually a good friend that came up with that.
That is amazing. And I'm like, oh, I have to check this out. But yeah, I say, I'm coming up on 12 years. I know you're double that. But I got this shot in my arm of super sobriety in the last year and a half. Oh my God, who knew? Who knew? But I am thrilled to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here
so much.
Oh my gosh, you're literally one of my favorite people. Like I can't imagine not knowing you. I can't believe I've only known you since like not even a year.
It's not even a year, but I know we had this instant connection. I just love you so much. And I don't know, I admire you. You just have this peace and calmness about you. And there's a lot of people that I follow that's what I'm looking for. I follow you because you have something that I want. I love
that's how I click my closest circle together too.
That peace, you've got this great sense of humor. I just love it. You don't take yourself so seriously. There's just so many things. I can go on and on and on, but you are one of the first people that I met that is so young and has so much time under your belt.
I know I'm so young. It's so funny. I've got 29 years and I'm still so young.
Yes, 29 years. God, oh my God. I just love that. I swear I wish that I had gotten it a lot sooner, but I don't even think I was drinking when you were. I started late. Yeah, I started late. I started drinking late. So yeah, I started at 33 and ended at 45. So I was like,
wow. Okay, yeah. So I started at 14 and ended at 20. So it was
quick,
so fast, but it's crazy because somehow like that short amount of time I was able to completely hit that same space of desperation that people have been drinking for years reached. I thought it was so awful when like it happened, like when I realized like I'm 20 years old, I'm an alcoholic, I need to get sober. Like I thought my life was over.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, like what the hell? Like I'm not even
supposed to be just
able to
starting
drink yet.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But you knew what a gift. You knew that.
What a gift.
honestly.
What a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mom was in recovery. My mom came into recovery first. And so she has her sobriety date is like a year and 2 days before mine. So that's sort of how I got introduced to it all. I don't know if I would have found it as fast as I did, as early as I did, had she not, because up to that point, my view of an alcoholic, I think, was still like, you're homeless, you're in jail, you're like it wasn't me, you know. So
an old man on a park bench, with a bag in his hand. That was my idea of it. And
I didn't, because even my mom, like, I was surprised with her, because I was like, yes, I knew she drank a lot, you know, but I didn't consider that to be an alcoholic. So it was, but what a gift it is to, I can't even, I mean, like, I think about it every day. I don't think about drinking ever anymore. Like, it never, I don't think about it. I don't feel like I'm stuck in the past, or, you know, like, I know sometimes people get criticized for talking about the sobriety for a long time after they're sober, but the reason I do it is to help other people that might be struggling. It's not right to have this amazing life that I feel was literally just gifted to me by God. Like, here's your second chance. And for me to just sit back and enjoy it and be happy and not help as many people that were where I was in the process, it just doesn't feel right today. It just does not feel right. So, you know, so I don't drink. I don't think about drinking. I don't drink, obviously. I don't think about,
I don't
guess what? I don't drink. I don't drink, Lori. I do think, though, every day about how grateful I am that I have the ability to be completely present. Like, as a parent, I've had the ability to raise my kids sober. I had the ability to get married sober. My husband's in recovery. So all of those things I have daily reminders of.
When I first started, and I knew somebody that I had like 3 months and I was white knuckling it, and somebody said that they had 20 something years. At first I was like, oh God, I got to keep on doing this. Like, it was scary. Totally. It was so scary, but I love the way you explain things. You know, I love the way that you put that message out that, yeah, I have 29 years. Yeah, I got sober at 20, but yeah, it was not always peaches and cream. You know, you let them know how real it is. It's not just this, yay, I'm sober, you know?
It's like, I really try to let people know where I was, and that it doesn't matter how much sobriety time I have, I am still human. I still make a ton of mistakes. I still have I still go into periods where I just don't feel quite like myself. I was in just one like 6 months ago where I had to, the difference is now I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what I need to do. And I'm so aware of myself today that it's like, I'm not in that space for very long before I go into solution mode. I sometimes feel guilty on Instagram if I'm saying, like, because I'm so happy today. My life is so full of blessings. I want people to know that there is so much happiness on the other side. And then sometimes I realize, though, I catch myself and I'm like, I know that this is just going to make somebody so mad, because I would have wanted to kill me if I heard me when I was, I would have been like, shut up. Like, you're annoying. I mean, because that's how I was my first year. I was such a bitch, and I was just like, I was such a bitch. And so now I've become that person, like this old timer. But I do have a huge soft spot in my heart for the young women, because I remember, I do remember exactly what it was like. And you know me, I'm not super mature still at my age. So I don't even feel that much older than half of them at this point, you know? So I do love it when I hear from the young people. I do get a lot of like young women that have reached out to me like on Instagram, and it just, it means the world to me that just to know that something I said, might have said helps, you know, even if it's a seed that's planted for later down the road.
Absolutely. And you know, you were given that opportunity. The seed was planted for you by your own mom. Yeah. And you didn't even know it at the time. But you know, this is the thing too. It's like when somebody is struggling, the biggest thing that we can do is to plant the seed, but for them to watch us and what we do.
Absolutely.
Setting 100%. An example. I was always told, continue to set a good example and pray. You know, that's all we can do.
I do think it is so cool, though, that I feel like, I don't know if you've had this experience, but it's like the longer I stay sober, it's almost like the more I realize I don't know. And so it's almost like I see things differently. I keep seeing things differently, even after all this time, or I realize something even more about myself that that I need to work on or way I can grow. We don't stop this. And I think that panicked me in the beginning because I was like, I want to do this. I'm going to do what you guys are asking me to do. And then I'm going to peace out and do my thing, you know? And then I was like, well, why are people still talking? But it's like, it's a lifelong growth process. And I think the thing is you don't, but it doesn't feel like work today.
It's just a way of living.
It's just a different way of living. And it really is amazing. It's such a gift. It's just, it's not how when I came into sobriety, it's definitely not what I thought it was going to be. And I thought that I would reach a point of, I got this. And then I didn't, and I still haven't. I won't get to a point where I say, I've got this. I think that today for me, it really comes down to, there's so many different things to do, but I think for me, it's just like, is that spiritual component there? Is my relationship with my higher power there? Do I trust him completely? And do I bring what I think would be his loving will for whatever my life is to do for someone else? Am I bringing that into everything that I do during the day? And when I do that, then I feel connected to everything. And that's where I start to really notice that's where I start to notice for myself, like if I'm starting to get judgmental, if I'm starting to snap at people, if I'm starting to stay stuck in the problem for a long time, those are red flags to me that I'm not doing something right. I just really pay attention to it today. It's intuitive now, which is great, but I notice it when I mess up like very quickly. I used to be, because there weren't many different methods of recovery when I came in. And so there weren't all of these options, there weren't all these sobriety books. There weren't all these programs, different programs. There wasn't, the one what I chose worked 100% for me. I 100% believe in it. I 100%. If somebody calls me and on the phone and says, how did you do it? I will tell them exactly how I did it. And I used to question like, well, how else could you pause? What else would work? And now I realized this on Instagram. I started getting really upset because I started seeing a lot of people post negative things about certain recovery programs, and a lot of times it's not even accurate information that they're bashing about the program. And I realized I had to take a look at myself when I saw that, because I realized that maybe I've been too kind of hard on other things I've seen. Maybe I'm being judgmental, thinking, well, that's not going to work. How's that going to work? We're all in this together. We're all trying to get sober. So it's like, for me to say that's not going to work, it's like me saying I'm God, which is the exact opposite of what I do today. And so it's like, I don't know what's supposed to be best. I just know what's worked for me. And I think we can be vocal about what's worked for us, but when we're vocal about why we don't like something else, I feel like that's really risky, because I feel like alcoholism is life and death. And I feel like if somebody sees something and then they misunderstand it, like maybe you just turned them off of a program that could have saved their life. And I don't want to be that person turning someone off of anything that could save their life. So I'm so different on that now than I was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, me too. I've never been vocal. I've never recovered out loud either. I was very anonymous. This is what was working for me, and it saved my life. It saved my life. It continues to save my life. But just like me being brought up Catholic, there was a lot of things about the Catholic Church I didn't like. And so do you just dump the whole thing because there's a few things you don't like?
I think that it's so much of it is human.
Yes,
are you actually talking about the program itself, what's written? Are you talking about how it's been interpreted through the years and maybe misunderstood and twisted a little bit? Because a lot of the things that even when you go to many recovery groups that they talk about are like, that's not something that was ever discussed in the actual original literature or anything. And so I can understand sometimes how people get a certain view of certain things, because I'm like, I would too if I didn't know what it actually was. I just think it's so dangerous when I don't see how it's helpful to say everything what's wrong with something else. Yeah. I just don't see how that's helpful to anybody.
And like you said, if somebody asks me, this is what I did, this is how I got sober, this is my experience, it might not work for you, but what do you have to lose other than trying it?
Right.
I was just having this conversation with somebody else. If you ask somebody's opinion on how to change a tire or how to hang a curtain or anything, 3 people, you're going to get 3 different opinions. One of them might stick for you. All 3 might not work for you. And then you go on to a 4th, but don't stop. Don't stop looking. You will find something that works for you that you're comfortable with.
And I feel like we sometimes are drawn to people that in recovery, I know I was drawn to certain people who had just a certain way about them, really fun, really laughing, really happy, and just seemingly free. They weren't down. They didn't hate sobriety. They weren't saying how hard it was all the time. It was like they were really happy. And those are the people I gravitated to. And when I was ready, and it didn't happen at first, but when I was ready, I said, just tell me what to do. Just tell me how you did it, because I want what you have. And then when I really honestly dove into it and did that, that's when everything changed. But you really do, you find it. And I couldn't talk enough about just how important it is to just respect that everybody's trying to do the same thing. We all have the same goal.
It's just respect.
Yeah, we're not giving movie reviews. We're like, this is life and death. This is something that can change the course of someone's entire life and their people's lives around them.
I just know that there is an easier, softer way, and I choose to live in the moment. I choose to live in a solution. I choose to be open-minded and willing to always learn. I'm 58 years old. I learn something new every single day now, and I embrace it. I never did before. I'd be like, that's not the way I do it.
Right. It's like, it's opening your mind. Like I realized it's all so much growth. Like I want to learn. I want to grow. I don't want to stay in a comfort zone. It's easy at first, but you don't grow there. So I've really learned. And by doing that, there's one good thing. A lot of people say time doesn't matter, and it doesn't on so many levels. On so many levels, it doesn't matter. On the one aspect that it has really helped is that I have had so many situations now, life experiences, where I have been shown that if I just trust that and do certain things, everything's going to work out okay. And I've seen that time and time again. I've seen it in other people's lives. So that's the one good thing, is that I don't have any doubt at any given point now that no matter what happens, I'll be okay. But a lot of that came from just experience of seeing, oh, you are okay. You just made it through another situation that you didn't think you'd get through. I posted something today, and it was something about, keeping things in. It weighs so heavily on you. And sometimes just to get it out, it's just the biggest relief. And it really not that bad as you thought it was. And when you're feeling it, because I'm a huge fan of like feeling it all too, before you let it go, like not try to bury anything, just feel it. And sometimes when you acknowledge it, it's like, oh, well, that weight just lifted. Like now I don't even feel that anymore. Even if it's fear or whatever, it's like just
whatever it is.
It dissipates once you stop trying to bury it. Because I found that even I would sometimes tell myself, like, I don't know, it was probably around 25-ish years sober. And I was like, okay, I felt weird because I was like, I shouldn't feel this at this point sober. Like maybe I shouldn't have these feelings sometimes, or maybe I shouldn't be messing up, like a human being. Maybe I'm too sober for this. And it was like, no, you're not like. And so I had to acknowledge, like, okay, no, I'm not okay right now. And I'm also not okay, but I'm also 25 years sober at the time, and that's okay. Like, because it doesn't mean anything other than that I'm saying that I'm not okay in that moment and I'm going to deal with it. But I do believe in always, always, always living in the solution.
Yeah, you have to.
If it's a situation that I literally have no control over, like there's nothing I can do that's going to change the situation, then I literally make the choice to make the best of it in that moment every time. Because it's I think I said this on a live that I was on a couple, like last week, and it's something, saying it is something that I would have hated the person had I heard it said, because it just is nauseating. But this is how I am today. And it's like, I was stuck in the bridge going to my house, and there was traffic, and I got stuck literally at the top of the bridge, and traffic wasn't moving. I was late for something, literally couldn't do anything about it. And everyone around me is getting frustrated and honking at people. And I look over and I'm like, oh my gosh, the sun's setting. This is gorgeous. And so I was like, does anybody notice the sun is setting? Like right now it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But nobody's noticing because they're so mad that they're not where they're going. But does it make them get there faster? No, we have a choice. We have a choice. And I think people misunderstand, and they think that means that we're going to just, so you're saying not to be upset by anything or don't get riled up about anything. It's like, it's not saying that we're not going to have normal human responses. And, you think of these things, but then it's just like, how is this going to change the course of my life? Really not. It's not.
It's not. But yeah, I know people do. They're like, oh yeah, like you don't get mad at anything. Are you kidding me? Of course I do. We're human. I thought that once I stopped drinking that, all right, I stopped drinking and, all these things were supposed to happen because everybody's so happy. Yeah. It's not that. It's learning how to live. Yeah. Learning
a whole different design for living. And it's a daily thing, and it's in the moment, and it's each moment, each interaction, everything we do. It's not only when we're at a meeting. It's not only on a podcast. It's literally everything.
Every single day.
Our lives. We really show our sobriety. It's out there in the world. I truly believe that being kind and just showing love to someone where they might not expect to receive it can really change someone. It can really have an impact, and it might not happen at that moment, but down the road they might remember it. I'm a huge fan of just spread as much love as you possibly can.
Absolutely. Oh my God. And I love you.
I love you.
I feel the youngest I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
My heart is so light and my soul feels so good. And I rest my head at night at peace with the world. Honest to God, I do not, all the promises have come true for me. And I just love being around people that I get that energy from. And you're one of them. And I don't get to see you enough. And we gotta stop that.
We need to do this every week. We'll stop this recording, but we need to do this like every week.
Okay, we will. Oh, Hil, thank you so much, sweetheart.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. And I know that for anybody watching, either one of us is available at any time to chat, always. Always. We do recover. You are not alone. Just reach out. Connection is so, so important. And I'm going to put up in the description your Instagram handle so that people can see it and follow you and message you if need be. And
I do respond to messages if they're alcohol related. I guess I should if they're alcohol or drug related. I don't respond to all messages. I do not. Yes. No, but I do respond. Like anyone who ever reaches out for help with, drinking,
absolutely,
drugs.
Absolutely. I know you do.
And if I feel, I am also a firm believer in just trying to get them hooked up with whoever can help them. So if it's something that if they're in a situation that I haven't personally experienced, I will do my best.
I will find somebody to help you. And that's what I do the same. Somebody had contacted me from Scotland asking me if I knew anybody, and I posted it on Instagram, and within 15 minutes, I think I got like 12 responses. Yeah. I'm in this area, hook them up, and because I don't know.
Yes. And we've all gone through different stories. So we all have different things, and some of us got sober young and some didn't. And that's why it makes it so amazing, is that we all you will find someone that's been through it the way you were through it, and they can help you. There's some amazing people on there. I've met some of the closest friends that I have ever made. Even that includes after living in like the same city in North Carolina for 17 years. I've gotten closer with some people in the past year than I have than with people that I was living in the same city with for 17 years.
Yeah, it's genuine too. That's another thing. It's lovely. It's beautiful. You're lovely. You're beautiful. You're incredible. I just love you. I love your message. I love everything that you stand for. I'm going to put on As Hil Sees It. If you are not following this girl, you need to be. I love you, honey. I will talk to you soon, and we will do this again. I love you.
Bye.
Bye.